Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, the technical trader at thetechtrader.com. It's Tuesday, the 25th of July. These are the charts of the day. Well, the markets had kind of a interesting day today. They made new all-time highs. The S&P up near 5950 yesterday. Pulled down sharply this morning. This is the NASDAQ 100, excuse me, from 5950 to 5916. The NDX dropping that quickly. The S&P, which got up to just under 2480 this morning, pulled back sharply to 2475, but by midday they had rallied. At least the S&P had. You can see this has gone up to new highs here versus the NASDAQ 100 not. Later in the afternoon, the NASDAQ 100 broke the resistance at 5936 and jumped to 5945, and then in the last hour it pulled back in an orderly fashion. So did the S&P, which dropped over, could not get through this little double top at the new high at 2481. And pull back to 2476, closing at 77. And looking at these patterns, you can see the longer term chart. This is the NASDAQ 100 that broke out of its down channel with a major thrust and literally has gone from the beginning of July, around the 4th of July weekend, from 55.75.80 to 59.50. Push on 400 points. That's a big run. And you can see that most recently it had consolidated, tested, ran up to new highs, and maybe this declining top line will be broken. You can see there's a wedge going on here. So it's a 1, 2, 3. If we can get that to pop out through 59.45.50, we got a big rally on our hands. Probably getting up to 6,000. The S&P, well, look at the overall look at this one. What a run-up it's had. Let's just say from the bottom down here in May at 2352 to 2482. It's 130 points. That's a big number as well. If you look at the overall structure, it's a large 1, 2, 3, 4. This is wave 5. I don't know where this ends or if it ends, but right now my target's 2489.90. And then it possibly exists that at the top of this channel, coming in up around 2500, somewhere between 2490 and 2500 is my immediate target. Let's go to some of the charts that did very well today. AKS, significant because 70 million shares. I look back a couple years. Let's go back further. I haven't seen a day with this much volume going back a couple years. So is this a breakout of a wedge and a close above the 3 moving averages today on a breakaway gap with volume of 70 million? Well, we'll know if it follows through and takes out 704 tomorrow. If it does that, I'm targeting 760, 850, 9.25, something like that. Could be interesting. Keep an eye on this one, and it may have momentum. ATI, well, as you remember, back in January, I gave you a swing when it popped and pulled back. It didn't work. It then broke down, popped again, and pulled back. It's just basically one-day mover here, one-day mover there. Is this another one-day wonder? Well, the volume was decent at 6 million. It was up 11.5%, and there's still 16.3 days to cover. This may very well get a squeeze here. Watch to see if and what it does if it gets through 2010 tomorrow. Then I'm looking for 23.5. Chemours has been a monster all year. It's now gone from February 2016 at 3 to today's high at 48. There's your long-term chart. Close at 48.02 up 169. That's 3.65%, 3.5 million. The stock has just been a steady runner. It's a massive move too. I don't think this is done yet. As a matter of fact, with the breakout of this flag, we may very well be heading towards 50.52 and then maybe as high as 60. Stay tuned. Cadence Design CDNS. Well, it's a stock we haven't talked much about. Looking at it weekly, you'll see a very long-term chart from under 250 to 36 and change since the bull market began. Now, on a more important basis, you can see the rising channel accelerated here at the beginning of this year. And now it's a very sharply rising angle, which tells me we may be headed for a run at 40. Today was a key breakout day as it jumped to $1.57 or 4.5% on 5.7 million, one of the biggest volumes this year. If we get a follow through like it did there, we may very well get 39.40. CYRX, what a move this has had this year. From just March low around 2, it's now more than tripled and it's still running. Today with the breakaway gap, broke out of the wedge, jumped 69 cents at 12%, and looks like it might be headed higher. The longer term chart shows there's some resistance at about 8.5. That's my near term target. Beyond that, we're looking for a spike up around 10.5. FCX, well, the price of copper is coming on, and you can see that FCX on a weekly chart has a massive V bottom with a 1, 2, 3, 4, and if wave 5 is true to form, we may see the stock get up into the low 20s. For now, though, on the daily chart, you can see the large move is going to at least, appears with today's move of $1.91 or 15% on 74 million shares, that this stock, as long as the price of copper stays firm or better, 17 and 19 are targets. FEYE, well, it popped to resistance today and backed off again. Watch this level, though, because anything that takes out this recent high at 1640 may be fuel for the fire that runs us up to 18.5, 19, my next target, especially with 5.65 days to cover. Genosea, 2 consecutive big days in a row on big volume. At resistance here, we get through this level, 7.25 and 7.90 are targets. 11.9 days to cover. It may be breaking out of the space, but it should get up to test near 8. IPXL broke out of the wedge yesterday, followed through today. Not up a lot, but I like the way it's moving. Slow but steady and a rising channel. Looking for 21 and 24. 3.94 days to cover. IVC, what an explosive move today. Up 330 to 26%. 3.3 million. 7.8 days to cover. The big wedge was broken. Now, if you remember, I like this stock here where it had the inverse head and shoulders. Broke out and pulled back, but it broke down. Immediately recovered. And right now, I think we're headed for the 18, 19 range, maybe as high as 20 short term. MIME resurrected its trend by breaking out today. $1.58 or almost 6%. The volume picked up to the best in about 3 weeks, almost a month. And for now, I'm looking for this stock to get up to past 30. 29.5 is resistance, and then we're looking for 32 and 34. Southern Copper, another copper play. One of our favorites. We made a nice swing in there. It looks like another one's on the way here as it broke out, and it continues to run. However, I think this one has a shot of getting into the low to mid 40s. Probably about 44, 45. There is almost 10 days to cover short on SCCO. Scientific Games, incredibly explosive. 2 big volume days in a row. The stock did reach the top of the channel today and not far from resistance, but if there's any follow through, you may see 41.2 before it gets a more substantial pullback. Careful. TTD. Well, the wedge broke a week ago and then it pulled back for 3 days. Today it's resuming its advance, or at least it looks like it is. 57.57 is the all-time high. Today's high was 57.07. Closed 55.68 up 157. Let's see if it can get through resistance, get up to 60.61, and then move into the high 60s. UWT. Well, even though I'm not high on oil, I got to say that after a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave decline and then this, if we can break out and we close right at resistance, this could run very sharply to first 15.90, 16, and maybe up to 17. But for now, let's see if we can extend through today's run-up. Lastly is YY, which has been in a beautiful rising channel. Broke out at a wedge a week and a half ago, ran up and stalled for 2-3 days in a wedge. Pop goes the weasel. I think this is headed for $80. And that's it for tonight, everybody. Have a good evening.